All right, Bears fans, loaded show today. Double dose of good news and some not so great news, but I think mostly good news today that I do want to dive into. This is Chicago Bears Now. I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel before we jump on in here. Our next milestone, 139,000 subscribers. Got a bunch of new subs recently. Love the support. Spread the word. Let's continue to grow this thing. Free and daily Bears content. Lock us in. It's 100% free. All right, let's get the bad news out of the way, then we'll get to the good stuff. Asante Samuel Jr., not a Chicago Bear. He is signing with the Steelers practice squad. Now, I don't know if the visit took place today or not at Hafley because he was scheduled to visit the Bears today and then the Steelers tomorrow. So I don't know if a visit got canceled or so on and so forth. Not sure about that. If those details come out, we will pass those along. But Jeremy Fowler did have the news that Samuel is signing with the Steelers practice squad. More on that in a minute. Top 25, yada, 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 the injury stuff, so on and so forth. Key note there is that the Steelers team surgeon, did the procedure on Asante Samuel's injury. So I'm guessing what happened here, and you start to connect the dots. Who was the last visit he was scheduled for? The Steelers. Who did the procedure? The Steelers surgeon. So I wonder if he had a verbal agreement in place with Pittsburgh, like, hey, we'll sign you to our practice squad if no one else is interested, or if you're most comfortable with us. He took the other visits with the 5 other teams and ultimately decided to go with Pittsburgh. And who knows, maybe the other teams didn't clear him, but since the Steelers doctors did the surgery, they were the team that did. We'll see if those details come out. Certainly a bit of a bummer, right? Unclear if he's going to be able to contribute this year, but, if he was fully right, I do think he could have helped this team. I mean, we've talked about the concerns at outside corner, the up and down play of Tyreek Stevenson, Nashawn Wright, who's been scrappy, but is probably more of a backup. But it is what it is. I will say this. With him signing with the Steelers practice squad, that's probably a signal that he's at least, minimum 2 weeks away for being ready to play in a game. He has not played in over a year. He had a spinal fusion surgery, neck stuff that gets you a little nervous. So, and dependent on the Bears' timeline here, Kyler Gordon potentially coming back, Jaylon Johnson, we got stuff on him in a minute as well. Maybe the timeline just didn't make sense for the Bears. Maybe if it was one of those, if he could play right away and contribute right away, it would have made more sense. I'm not saying that's why he did or did not sign with Chicago. We don't know those specific details yet. Not sure if we'll get those, but timing's everything a lot of the time with these injury situations, and maybe it just didn't quite line up with the Bears. Are you bummed out about missing out on Asante Samuel Jr.? Type Y for yes, or type in for no. Certainly a little bit. I don't think it's the end of the world, especially considering we don't know when exactly he's going to be able to play. But, I would have liked to see it happen at the same time. All right, there is good news on the cornerback front. Jaylon Johnson. There appears to be some evidence that perhaps he will return this season, and maybe even sooner than we think. We're going to dive into that here in just a moment, but I do want to tell you guys about our awesome sponsor first. That is Prize Picks. Been playing Prize Picks for a couple of years now, the best daily fantasy sports app out there. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. A lot of cool features on Prize Picks, including the way you want to play. It's not just a one-size-fits-all. If you want flexibility, choose the Flex Play option, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter how you play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. I got a 2-player lineup, which that's the minimum, 2 up to 6 players in your lineup. It is a 2-pick power play lineup here, so I'm going for it all. I took more on Caleb Williams' rush yards this weekend, like the way he's running around, scrambling, making plays right now. I think he can hit more than 20.5. And then I took less on J.J. McCarthy's passing yards. Tyreek Stevenson, Nashawn Wright, shut me up. Go out there and ball out and shut down J.J. McCarthy. That would be lovely. $20 lineup to win $55 right here. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. All right, so this screenshot started circulating around the Twitter bot today, and it's Jaylon Johnson doing some rehab work. And Cullen, help me out. What is that text there? So the little caption there is they said Jaylon Johnson out indefinitely. Nah. And it's an IG story video. You guys can see the guy's handle in the top left if you want to go check it out himself. He's doing some side-to-side kind of cardio, I guess, like ligament rehab work, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a PT expert, but imagine it's one of those classic exercises to build that strength back up. It looks like he's moving pretty well. And you start to wonder, okay, could Jaylon come back? What does that look like? When does that look like? The initial report was sometime in December. Well, I look at the schedule. Could that Browns game be like a natural launching point if he's ready by then? In week 15, and then he's ready to go for the final push? Because if you remember those initial reports, it was two things. One, there's a chance he could return in December. And two, if the Bears are in the mix and he's cleared, he would potentially return, right? Like if he's not cleared, he won't return, obviously. If the Bears aren't in the mix, he wouldn't return. Well, barring a collapse, the Bears are at least going to be in the mix and have a chance to make the playoffs. And that Browns game, December 14th, which is 5 games from now, just over a month away, that'd be kind of an ideal launch point, kind of ease him back in against a team that you should be able to beat at home. Maybe you play him a part-time role in that game, 25, 30, 35 snaps, whatever, and then hopefully he's full-fledged for the final 3 weeks. That's probably a best-case scenario, but if he's able to return then, talk about a lift. That's like trading for a Pro Bowler at the deadline or something. They haven't had him all year. He played like 20 snaps against the Lions, and then his season was over. So we'll see. I don't think this is confirmation that he's returning, but there seems to be some confidence there in that post. I like the way he's moving, and you would think, too, he's playing on a bunch of garbage Bears teams. Bears finally have a chance to be a playoff team here. You would think he'd be pretty motivated to return, and they could use him, man. You plug him back in, even if he's not fully himself this year, if he's 80% of himself, put him on the outside corner, let Tyreek and Deshaun Wright kind of duke it out on the other side, play the hot hand, whoever that is. I think that would certainly be a lift for this football team. Even more good news. The Packers lost again last night, and there are real reports that Matt LaFleur could be on the hot seat. More on that in a second, but the first part of this is Green Bay lost to Philadelphia last night, which puts the Bears in the 6th seed in the NFC playoff picture. They also leapfrogged Green Bay in the NFC North as well, tied for Detroit in first place. Now, Detroit's in first, the Bears are in second because the Lions did win the head-to-head matchup, but Bears will get a second crack at Detroit later on. Obviously, 2 more games with the Packers as well, so a lot to be determined there, but a really nice result for the Bears with Green Bay going down last night. And this is the even better part of it, if I'm being honest. Matt Schneidman, the Athletic, he's covered the Packers for a while now, wrote this up in his Monday or Tuesday morning column, I should say. Here he said, "It is not far-fetched to think Matt LaFleur is coaching for his job as the Green Bay's Packers head coach for the rest of this season. Brian Gutekunst, the GM, said before the season that it is time for the Packers to start competing for championships. Jeff Hafley is coordinating a championship defense. LaFleur's offense is far from that caliber. That might need to change over the next 2 months for him to keep his job." You're telling me that if the Packers don't have an incredibly strong finish in some level of a playoff run, that they're going to fire this guy? A guy who wins twice for every loss, a guy who's won this division 3 times, a division that, especially now, is pretty tough. I get it, they haven't won the last couple years. A guy that's gone to 2 NFC championship games, a guy that's been to the playoffs 5 times in 6 years. And yes, he's 3-5 in the playoffs, but let's be honest, Rodgers laid a couple eggs there. You have San Francisco at home in freezing weather against noodle arm Jimmy Garoppolo, and you lose 13-10. That's on Rodgers. I'm sorry. Please, Green Bay, get rid of this guy. I would love it if the Packers fired Matt LaFleur. Packers fans are so spoiled. Get LaFleur out. He sucks, this and that. Dude, a bad season for you guys is 9-8. Bears fans would have signed up for 9-8 this year. Now we're hoping for more than that, but I think this would be a catastrophic error by Green Bay if they are actually to go this route. Now, is this report like they're leaning toward firing him? I wouldn't say that, but if they miss the playoffs, it certainly seems like that's on the table based on the chatter that's out there right now, which I personally think would be an insane move. I think Matt LaFleur is a top 10 coach in this league. If last year he became available when the Bears were searching for a coach, I probably would have had him as my top candidate. Not because I didn't want and really love Ben Johnson as an option, but I've seen LaFleur do the job as the head coach, who also calls plays. Like, how many teams would sign up for this guy if he became available? I think that would be a grave mistake by Green Bay, and I'm hoping they make it because that would be glorious for the rest of the teams in the NFC North. If you hate the Packers, you know what to do. Get the FGB spammed down in the comment section below. Please, Green Bay, get rid of Matt LaFleur. He stinks. He doesn't know what he's doing. Get him out of there. Go hire Clint Kubiak, who I like as a candidate, but has never been a head coach. I'm sure that would be a clear upgrade for Green Bay rather than a guy who's done nothing but win a lot in his tenure in Green Bay. All right. That's going to do it for today's episode. No Asante Samuel, but maybe Jaylon Johnson's back sooner than we think. Kyler Gordon could be back soon. So still a lot of positive vibes around this football team. If you want more Bears content, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you soon.